Lonely CEO's heart revealed, little girl's life-changing request for a forever daddy exposed. Ryan Mitchell ran a multi-million-dollar tech company, and yet, in his swanky office high above the bustling streets of Chicago, he felt invisible. The glass walls that showcased the city's skyline seemed to reflect more than just success, they echoed the emptiness that had settled in his heart since the day he lost his parents in a tragic car accident. In a world showered with accolades, every acknowledgement only amplified his solitude. He poured his life into work, clinging to spreadsheets and deadlines as if they could fill the void of family and connection, but nothing did. As winter wrapped its chilled fingers around the city, a lavish charity gala came alive with laughter and clinking glasses. The room sparkled with fairy lights, yet amid the gleaming black-tie crowd, Ryan felt more alone than ever. Just as he contemplated another night of superficial networking, a small voice broke through. "Mr. Mitchell." He turned to see her, a little girl with big, hopeful eyes. Lucy was no ordinary child, life had already thrown her countless obstacles, but here she was, dressed in hand-me-downs, clutching a piece of paper like it was a treasure. "I have a wish," she said, her voice steady yet tinged with vulnerability. "A forever daddy." Ryan's heart dropped. The innocent request, simple yet profound, struck him like a bolt of lightning. Who was he to this girl? A shadow over her reality, or the bridge to something more? Their bond formed slowly, through bright exchanges filled with laughter and the kind of joy Ryan had almost forgotten. Lucy was resilient, her spirit unbroken by the hard truths of her life. She spoke of her dreams of art, adventure, and family, each word illuminating the once dark corners of Ryan's heart. Yet, with each conversation, a creeping doubt shoved its way inside. Could he, a man so dedicated to his career, truly commit to being a dad? Before he could dwell on that too deeply, the murmurs began. Whispers of privilege and exploitation swirled around him, prickling at the edges of his confidence. What does he know about being a father? They would say. He felt the weight of judgment, almost suffocating, pressing down on him like the closing walls of his own fears. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just as Ryan thought about stepping back, news hit him like a wave crashing on the shore. Critical funding cuts threatened the local arts program that provided Lucy and her peers a safe haven. The chill of injustice ignited a fire within him, not just for Lucy, but for every child chasing dreams in a system that often forgot them. Standing at the precipice of his new life, Ryan felt an urgent call to action. Could he become the father Lucy longed for and the advocate these kids deserved? Doubt still lurked in the shadows, but beneath the uncertainty, a wave of determination surged within him. As he prepared to step into the world fraught with challenges, a question lingered in the air, pregnant with emotion: would he find the courage to redefine not just his world but the very concept of family itself? The moment Ryan returned to his office after the gala, he felt different. The sterile environment of glass and steel, once comforting in its predictability, now felt like a cage. He stared at the skyline while the city buzzed below him, but his focus was inward. Lucy's words echoed in his mind, a constant refrain nudging him toward action. A forever daddy. The phrase hung in the air like a challenge, daring him to find out what that really meant. His phone buzzed. It was a message from his assistant, Jenna. A reminder about the board meeting tomorrow. Decisions about budgets. He could hear the faint whispers of his colleagues through the walls, sharp tongues ready to debate over numbers. But the reality of what he needed to do weighed heavier than any financial forecast. Instead of sticking to his usual routine, Ryan found himself connecting with the community center that hosted the art program. It was a small place, bursting with colors that splashed off the walls, each stroke telling the story of a hopeful child. He met Mia, the program director, who exuded warmth and passion. As she spoke, her eyes sparkled with light, and for the first time, Ryan felt an ember of hope flicker inside him. "Do you think you could help save our program?" Mia asked, her sincerity making his heart pound. "These kids need every chance they can get." "Yes," he replied, surprised at his own conviction. "I'll do everything I can." But the weight of that promise pressed down on him. Just then, the realization struck him, he was stepping into uncharted territory. He wasn't just fighting for numbers anymore, he was fighting for dreams, something brighter than the confines of his corporate world. The next morning, Ryan rushed to meet with city council members. He gathered statistics, defined the importance of arts education, armed himself with everything he could muster. As he presented his case, he felt Lucy's gaze behind his closed eyes, urging him forward. He saw her smile, and it fueled him. But the murmurs of doubt still lingered. "What do you know about being a father?" Those words haunted him like an echo. After a fierce session of debate, the council voted to restore funding for the arts program, in part due to Ryan's passionate plea. As he walked out, a sense of triumph embraced him. But it was short-lived. Uncertainty loomed in the distance. Would Lucy see him as a father figure? Or as another adult who made empty promises? Days passed, and he attended the community center more often, spending time not only with Lucy but also with other kids who needed his support. He even picked up a paintbrush for the first time in years, laughter echoing around him as they created art together. Their joy was contagious, and he poured himself into the moments, determined to be more than just a CEO. Yet, just as things began to brighten, the clouds gathered again. A letter arrived, complaints from the very people who had once praised him for his involvement. Too wealthy. Not genuine. Each word cut through him, leaving him exposed and vulnerable. Neither Lucy nor the other children deserved this scrutiny. He realized he waited too long to realize the most glaring truth. It wasn't about money or profiles, it was about love and commitment, the very things he had pushed aside for success. With a shaky breath, Ryan made a decision. He could fight this. More than that, he had to. But was it enough? Did he have what it took to truly be a father, and would the community accept him as their own? As he watched Lucy paint a vibrant mural, deep in thought, a new question welled up in his heart: how much would he risk to show them he could be more than just a name on a door? The answer wasn't clear, but one thing was certain: this journey was just beginning. Would he find the strength to prove himself, both to Lucy and to the world? Ryan stood at the community center's doorway, watching Lucy paint. She was lost in her world of colors, her laughter ringing like chimes in the afternoon light. The moment felt surreal, as though the vibrant hues she splashed on the canvas were painting over the grays that had clouded his life for so long. His heart swelled with a mix of pride and uncertainty. Each day spent at the center brought more joy than he ever expected. Yet, the doubt from that letter echoing in his mind was like an anchor, pulling him back just as he was learning to float. Too wealthy. Not genuine. He hated that those words had a ring of truth. "Hey, Mr. Ryan." Lucy's voice broke through his thoughts. She motioned for him to join her. "Help me. I need more blue." He chuckled softly, moving toward her. That childlike energy seemed to cast away the shadows of his worries. As he scooped blue paint onto a brush, her fingers smudged with colors, Ryan felt a spark of clarity. This wasn't just about the program, it was about being part of something real and raw. "What do you think?" Lucy asked, stepping back to survey her work. The mural was evolving into a kaleidoscope of bright animals and trees, a scene that brought to life the joy each child carried within them. "It's amazing, Lucy. You've got a real gift," he replied, kneeling to get a closer look. She beamed at his words, her pride shining through. But then, his phone buzzed again. It was a message from Mia, and as he read it, his heart sank. There was a meeting scheduled to discuss the complaints. "We need to strategize how to address these concerns," it said. The pressure was building like a wave, and he feared it might crash down on both him and the kids. What's wrong? Lucy's eyes glimmered with concern. Ryan shook his head, forcing a smile. Just grown-up stuff. Nothing you need to worry about. He hated lying to her, but what could he say? That he was feeling the weight of everyone's expectations. That he felt like an imposter. But Lucy wasn't buying it. You're not just a grown-up, you're my friend. You help us. Her words struck a chord, breaking through his own internal struggle. He had been so wrapped up in proving himself that he hadn't seen how hard everyone else was fighting just to have someone who cared. It's just I want to be more than that, Lucy, he confessed, the lump forming in his throat. I want them to see me as part of this community, as someone who can really help. Then be that guy. She said, her voice brimming with conviction. You're already doing it. You're here. You care. He glanced at her, all washing over him. Here was this little girl, unlikely and fearless, encouraging him to embrace what his heart had started to acknowledge. But then the doubts crept back in, and he felt himself shrink beneath the weight of it all. What if it's not enough? At that moment, something shifted within him. In Lucy's eyes, he saw reflection, potential. If he wanted to truly be a father figure, he must fight for it. Fight for Lucy, for the community, and maybe even for himself. He took a deep breath. Okay, let us make a plan. We'll show everyone how much this program means not just to us, but to the whole community. He straightened, feeling the fire ignite within him once more. Yeah. Lucy shouted, her small fist punching the air. As he looked around at the community center that was beginning to feel like home, Ryan realized the battle was just beginning. The looming meeting could either shatter or solidify his newfound role. Let us finish this mural first. In that moment, standing next to Lucy, he understood, it wasn't just a fight for acceptance, it was a fight for love, for family. What he had to give was more important than how others viewed him. And amid the colors and laughter, one nagging thought remained. Is love powerful enough to break down the walls between him and the doubts? That question lingered in the air, and as Ryan dipped the brush into paint, transformations loomed on the horizon. Would he find the courage to face the council and prove that a heart once closed could open up to a world full of possibilities? Ryan dipped his brush into the vibrant blue, a bold stroke across the mural mirroring the surge of determination in his chest. Lucy clapped her hands in delight. Look at that. It's just like the ocean. He stepped back, admiration sparkling in his eyes as the mural danced to life with waves of color radiating joy. Yet, even as he savored the moment, the shadow of the upcoming meeting loomed over him. What's next? Lucy asked, bouncing on her toes. What if Ryan began, wiping his hands on an apron, we have the kids help us present the mural at the meeting. Her eyes widened. You mean, we show them what we made together? Yes. Everyone in the community can see how much this place means to us. He felt the heat of excitement, a plan forming that might pull him closer to the acceptance he craved. I can ask everyone. Lucy exclaimed, already scampering around the center to gather her friends. Their laughter filled the space, and for a moment, the worries and doubts began to fade. As children joined them, the energy grew infectious. They painted, laughed, and collaborated, each stroke turning the project into a colorful tapestry of dreams and imaginations. Ryan observed them with a swelling heart. Here were the faces of pure joy, unfettered by the complexities that plagued him. Mr. Ryan, look! Shouted a boy named Marcus, showing off his tiger painted in vivid orange. Do you think they'll like it? It's perfect, buddy. Ryan cheered, genuinely impressed. You captured everything about a tiger. You're going to bring that to life in the meeting. The words flowed easier now with each smile, each laugh, and as Ryan engaged more with the children, he felt the weight of the world lighten. Perhaps this was the connection he needed to deepen the bond with his community. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden hue through the center S windows, Ryan and the kids gathered around to admire their handiwork, a sprawling mural filled with animals, trees, and a brilliant blue sky. For the first time in a while, he felt a sense of belonging. But amid the cheers and excitement, his phone buzzed again, a foreboding reminder of the road ahead. A new message from Mia blinked on the screen. Remember, this proposal isn't just about the art. It's about the program's future. The playful energy around him slipped for just a moment. Was this enough? Would they truly see the heart of the program, or was it merely a creative escape, a distraction from the reality of expectations? Hey, Mr. Ryan. Lucy's voice sliced through the encroaching doubt. Can we put a sun in the corner? It needs something bright. Absolutely. A sun it is. His voice held firm, but inside, he wrestled with the harsh truths that clung to his thoughts. As they painted the sun, Ryan felt every child's laughter weave a small fabric of hope around him. He caught Lucy's eye, her small face lighting up with pride as she added her strokes. The love and connection here were real, he thought. He just needed to trust that vision, to fight for it when the moment came. But beneath the surface, a fear gnawed at him. What if their passion wasn't enough to sway the council? What if he failed to communicate their truth? The mural symbolized not just their joy but the fragile bond forming between him and the community. Would it be strong enough to hold when tested? As dusk settled in, Ryan knew that they would share this joy with the council. But would that be enough to turn the tides? Stepping away from the mural, a heavy but hopeful sigh escaped his lips. A decision had to be made, and soon. The brush dangled in his grip, colors swirling together beautifully, much like the intricate lives of those around him. With a heart beating louder than before, Ryan wondered if he could summon the courage needed to stand tall as their advocate. What if this moment were to change everything? The thought flickered like a candle. He felt it deep within him, an echoing question: was this the leap of faith that could reshape their lives forever? As the last brushstroke of gold settled into the corner of the mural, Ryan felt a wave of warmth wash over him. The sun they had painted blazed brightly against the deep blue sky, a hopeful symbol of new beginnings. The children giggled, clustered around their masterpiece, each face a mosaic of passion and pride. Yet the nagging thought of the upcoming council meeting tugged at him like a heavy anchor. Okay, everyone. Gather round. Ryan called, clapping his hands to draw attention away from the swirling uncertainties. The kids dashed over, faces lit with excitement, their eager chatter like a bubbling stream. We're going to share our mural at the meeting, he announced, mixing enthusiasm with purpose. But we need to practice what we'll say. Marcus, you'll tell them about your tiger, how it represents courage. Lucy, you can talk about the sun and what it means to you. Their cheers filled his heart with joy, but as he watched them burst into action, a shadow flickered across his mind. What if I fail to speak for them? He thought. What if I can't make them see how deep this really goes? Ryan took a deep breath and decided to bury those fears beneath a layer of hope. Let us do this together, he reminded himself. They would be a team, a unit forged in color and creativity, and this was their story to share. As the kids rehearsed their parts, Ryan felt a surge of pride. Each word they practiced was a brick in the wall of their growing connection, a foundation they would need to stand against any scrutiny. He moved around the group, giving feedback and encouragement, feeling incredible warmth when a small hand reached for his. Mr. Ryan, Lucy said, her voice small but steady, what if they don't like it? What if they think we're just kids playing around? He knelt beside her, looking deeply into her worried eyes. We've worked hard, Lucy. Art is about expressing ourselves, about the joy we find together. If they can see how much we love this, then they just might understand. Her expression brightened. Okay. I'll tell them how much fun we had. That's the spirit. Ryan beamed, his heart rising with her enthusiasm. As the sun danced through the windows, the room felt charged with the possibility of what lay ahead. After hours of practicing and laughter, the mural felt complete, much like the bond he was beginning to forge with these bright souls. They posed for a group picture in front of their vibrant masterpiece, arms thrown over one another's shoulders, echoing a sense of camaraderie that he hadn't known before. As the evening deepened, Ryan's phone buzzed once more, pulling him back to reality. Another message from Mia, this time echoing an urgency he couldn't shake. The council's expectations are high. Show them why this project matters. A storm of doubt flickered in his mind. Could he really encapsulate all that? Was he enough? Mr. Ryan? Lucy's tiny voice interrupted. Do you think they'll understand? Ryan swallowed hard. I hope so. But I'll tell you what, Lucy. We'll make them see. The kids all grinned at him, their confidence contagious. He watched as a little boy swung his paintbrush, creating an accidental splash of color on Ryan's apron. The laughter rang out again, breaking through the tension. Yet in the back of his mind, the fear lingered. If this didn't go well, they could lose everything. All right, team, he said, rallying them one last time before leaving. Let us go show them our hearts. As they headed out the door, an unexpected sense of calm washed over him. He was ready, accompanied by the pure joy of kids who had poured their hopes and creativity into a mural meant for their community. But, lurking behind that hope was the nagging voice of doubt. Could joy really win against the cold calculations of adults? The answer drifted through his mind like a whisper, maybe it could. But would it be enough? Ryan locked eyes with Lucy as they stepped into the gathering darkness, feeling the weight of the moment press upon him. Would they all find the courage to share their hearts when it mattered most? The meeting hall buzzed with a thick anticipation as Ryan and the kids entered. The walls, draped in plain white, seemed to swallow their vibrant energy. When the door closed behind them, Ryan felt the weight of 1,000 eyes settle on him. The room, lined with council members and community members, felt like a stark contrast to the laughter and color of their mural. Ryan glanced at Lucy, her small hand squeezed tightly around the corner of his shirt. He could see the fear in her wide eyes mirrored across the other children's faces. They were all just kids, but now they stood on the precipice of something big. Okay, team, he whispered, kneeling down to their level, remember what we practiced. And remember, this is our passion. Let it show. As he straightened, the murmur of the crowd quieted. He stepped forward, heart pounding, feeling both the reverberation of excitement and the edge of apprehension. He gestured toward the mural, bright and alive behind them like a sunburst in a bleak landscape. Thank you all for being here today, he began, his voice steadying. We're here to share something special with you, a mural that represents our dreams, our hearts, and our voices. There were murmurs of skepticism, a few raised eyebrows. Ryan swallowed, afraid the weight of their apprehension might crush his own. But then he turned to Marcus, who savored every bit of bravery he could muster. I painted this tiger, the boy spoke, lifting his chin. It's brave. It's me when I have to do things that are hard, like talking to you. The council members exchanged glances, and Ryan felt a surge of something, pride, perhaps. Marcus carried on, the little voice turning his tiny fear into a powerful message. As each child spoke, sharing their passion with heartwarming earnestness, sparks of connection flickered in the faces of the audience. Lucy's tale of the sun, a bright beacon of hope, had them nodding, their skepticism giving way to a softening. Ryan's heart soared when he noticed the shifting atmosphere, the cautious faces beginning to light up. He felt lighter too, as if each word spoken by the kids brightened the room just a little more. We've worked so hard on this mural, he said, glancing back to the awe-filled expressions of his young team. It's not just paint on the wall. It's us. It's community. It's love. But just then, a voice cut through the warmth. Mr. Taylor, a council member stated, leaning forward, it's lovely, but how does this help our town? We need solutions, not just colors. The harshness of the interruption fell over them like a shadow. The kids' faces faltered as Ryan's pulse quickened, the weight of that question hanging heavily in the air. Had they really prepared for this? Did their mural have the power to connect their colorful hopes with practical solutions? Ryan's own doubts crept back in, an old enemy he thought he had put to rest. What if they don't see? He thought. What if this beautiful moment evaporated before their eyes? Sir, Lucy piped up, her tiny voice piercing the uncertainty that hung in the room. We painted the sun to bring happiness, and that happiness can make people feel better. If we feel better together, we do better together. The room held its breath, and in that piercing silence, everything shifted. Ryan's heart swelled, a tidal wave of admiration crashing over him. This little girl, unpretentious and brave, stood for them all, and she was right. Happiness could spark change in ways they weren't even aware of. Ryan could feel the crowd changing, leaning in. Hope flickered to life again within the council members' eyes. Could joy and passion truly inspire a shift, a new perspective? But before he could grasp the moment fully, a voice interrupted his thoughts, bringing Ryan back to the urgency of the situation. Mr. Taylor, a stern woman from the council asked again, if you are successful in this endeavor, what will happen next? Ryan's mind raced. It didn't just ride on the children's shoulders. It hinged on him too. They were standing at the edge of a whole new chapter. Would he transform their innocent ambitions into something tangible? The sun was setting outside, casting a glow that echoed the vivid colors of their mural. He took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the kids beside him, the hope that radiated off their nervous smiles. I don't know what's next, he admitted honestly. But what I do know is this is just the beginning. If we try with everything we have, we might surprise ourselves. As the room buzzed with murmurs from the council, Ryan understood that they had set a spark. Would it catch fire? His heart raced, as uncertainty and excitement flooded him. They had opened a door, but what lay beyond it, the future, the potential, remained shrouded in mystery. All he could hope for now was that they could connect that joy to tangible action. And as they waited for the response of the council, Ryan turned to Lucy. Would their message resonate deep enough to ignite meaningful change? The council room throbbed with anticipation, every face shifting from skepticism to curiosity. Ryan felt a wave of hope wash over him, but fear nagged at the corners of his mind. What if their words didn't reach far enough? What if the council returned to their safe zones, beyond the vibrant colors of the mural? Suddenly, a council member leaned back, arms crossed tightly over his chest. You talk a lot about feelings, kids. But what about real problems? Money issues, unemployment. How does your mural fix those? Tension tightened the air. The children shifted uneasily, their smiles fading like a sunset swallowed by night. Ryan felt a knot tighten in his stomach. They had laid their hearts bare, hoping to elicit something, anything beyond just words. But Lucy stood her ground, her fearless spirit shining through once more. Maybe it doesn't fix everything, she said, her small voice quaking yet persistent. But it can make us want to fix things together. Together, Ryan echoed, surprised by her clarity. It was a simple word, yet it carried a profound weight. Together. He could feel the shift in the room, the subtle softening of harsh expressions. One of the community members leaned forward, a flicker of interest in their eyes. How do you mean? Lucy's face brightened as she spoke again. When we feel happy, we want to help each other. Happy people help others. Maybe if our town feels good, they'll want to change things too. Ryan couldn't help but marvel at her wisdom. She wasn't just a child speaking, she was a fountain of insight and resilience. A councilwoman exchanged glances with her peers, as if weighing the truth in Lucy's unguarded excitement. But feel-good art won't pay the bills, she replied, though her tone was softer now, more curious than defensive. Maybe it will be a start, Ryan interjected, his heart buoyed by Lucy's courage. We can turn our community's spirit into something that attracts resources. Maybe the mural sparks a conversation about our needs. It can inspire fundraisers or community gatherings. When we feel connected, opportunities arise. The room buzzed again, this time with a mixture of hope and doubt, like a tightrope walker on the verge of risking it all. One by one, more of the kids began voicing ideas, thoughts spilling forth from their hearts. Marcus suggested an event to paint more murals. It brings everyone together, he said, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Another child chimed in, we could sell lemonade. Or cookies. Laughter rippled, breaking the tension as smiles returned. As they shared their dreams, Ryan saw the effect of their passion weaving a blanket of connection over the council. Every little idea felt like a brick laid in the foundation of a future that was wide open. Finally, the council member who had questioned them clasped her hands thoughtfully. Okay, but it can't just stop here, you understand? There needs to be follow-up. If we invest, then there must be structure. Yes. Ryan exclaimed, feeling uplifted. Let us work together, kids, parents, everyone, creating a plan to keep the momentum going. Suddenly, Lucy's eyes sparkled. Can we partner with local businesses? Exactly. Ryan clapped his hands. Our mural is just the beginning. We can bridge our hopes into actions that reshaped our community. An art program, mentoring for young artists, there's a lot we can do together. Who wouldn't want to be a part of it? The energy shifted palpably. What had started as skepticism was transforming into intrigued possibility. The council members looked at one another with newfound respect. One man raised his hand, smiling. So, what do we call this initiative? A chorus of voices rang out, the heart of the town. Colorful connections. They erupted into laughter. Ryan felt a sizzle of joy ripple through him, watching the kids' excitement reignite the room. They were on the cusp of turning hope into reality. But just before he could bask in the moment, a voice cut through the laughter. What's our first step? Asked the stern woman who had questioned them earlier, her brows lifted. Ryan's heart raced. Their message was landing, but this was just the beginning of a much bigger journey. In that charged atmosphere, he realized one thing as he looked into the eyes of the children standing beside him. They were no longer just kids. They were changemakers. The council needed clarity, a direction to take that would harness the energy in the room. But could they keep their spirits high and actionable? Let us vote. Ryan called. Yeah. The kids cheered, but he felt a nagging worry cling to his thoughts. Would their passion be enough to propel them forward? As the murmurs began to circulate, Ryan grasped Lucy's hand tightly, a silent promise of what they were ready to take on together. Would they successfully inspire not just their council, but the heart of their community? The moment of truth was now on the horizon. The room quieted as Ryan glanced around, feeling both exhilarated and terrified at the same time. This was it, the moment that would solidify their commitment to making things happen. He took a deep breath, hoping to silence the storm of uncertainty inside him. The council members began to nod, exchanging brief glances tinged with something Ryan couldn't quite decipher. It was as if they were weighing the possibility of what these kids were offering against the complexities of their reality. Would they take a chance on hope? Okay, let's take a vote, the council member who had posed the tough question said, her voice steady. All in favor of exploring the initiative, the creative projects the mural. Her eyes scanned the room. As hands began to rise, Ryan felt warmth pooling in his chest. The moment felt electric, a surge against the weight of the world they stood up to dismantle. It was not just about a mural anymore, it was about sparking change, fostering connection, and pushing against the gravities of their struggles. Yet, a small voice from the back spoke up, breaking through the tension. What if it doesn't work? The questioning tone came from a shy girl with glasses, her hands trembling slightly as she spoke. What if people don't care? Ryan's heart sank. Her worries were painfully valid. What if all their energy was for nothing? But before he could reply, Lucy stepped forward, her radiant confidence overshadowing the doubt that floated like a cloud. Of course, some people might not care, Lucy acknowledged, meeting the girl's gaze with earnestness. But what if we reach just one heart? What if we inspire one person to join the fight? That could change everything. It was a powerful reminder, a simple truth. Even small victories paved the way for larger ones. Ryan nodded, a smile creeping back onto his face as the room began to murmur in agreement. Yes. Every journey starts with one step, Ryan added, feeling the pulse of excitement ripple through the room once more. And we'll be right here, taking that step together. As more council members raised their hands to vote in favor, Ryan glanced at his friends. They shared smiles, a silent agreement that bond felt deeper than just friendship. It was a commitment to make their community feel a little brighter. When the final vote was tallied, the council member clapped her hands, a grin stretching across her face. The motion carries. You have our support to plan this initiative. Cheers erupted from the kids, their voices mingling like music. Laughter filled the room, alleviating tensions that had hung for too long. It felt like a miracle, and for a moment, everything seemed possible. But as the excitement soared, Ryan's mind raced ahead. They had the support now, but they needed a plan. The visions were plentiful, but structure was crucial. He turned back to Lucy and the others. What do we do next? How do we keep this momentum? Before anyone could answer, a councilman spoke up, a thoughtful expression on his face. You'll need to define roles and responsibilities, get organized. An idea sparked in Ryan's mind. What if we create committees? Each one tackling different parts of the initiative: marketing, the art, fundraising. Lucy beamed at him. Totally. We can reach out to schools for support too. Great plan, kiddo. Ryan smiled, the warmth of the moment wrapping around him. But as the kids began bouncing ideas off each other, a shadow flickered at the edges of his thoughts. What if they faced pushback from some of the older residents? Could they remain united when faced with resistance? Caught in a whirl of swirling excitement and uncertainty, Ryan felt a knot in his throat. Their journey was only just beginning, and he hoped they would be brave enough to keep pushing forward. He looked at Lucy, whose eyes sparkled with determination. We can do this, right? Ryan asked, needing reassurance, a signal that everything would be okay. Absolutely. She replied, squeezing his hand. In that moment, their laughter rang out in the council room, a cacophony of determination. But beneath that joy, uncertainty lingered, questions left unanswered. As they began to gather their thoughts and split into groups, Ryan caught a glimpse outside the window. Dark clouds loomed on the horizon. A storm was on its way. Will our mural's heart hold through the tempest? He wondered, the thrill of possibility clashing with the weight of doubt, each heartbeat echoing the distance they still had to travel. Staring at the clouds, he felt the stirrings of a resolve that hadn't taken root before. They would face whatever came, together. But in that moment of unity, another question arose, a challenge. What if this was bigger than just their town, their mural, their dreams? What would each child sacrifice to strengthen that heart? As the groups formed and excitement buzzed in the air, Ryan gazed into the uncertain sky, knowing the real struggle was only just beginning. Ryan could hardly hear the chatter around him as thoughts collided in his mind. Voices of his friends formed a comforting hum, but the looming clouds outside felt like a warning. What if the sky mirrored their initiative? What if their bond couldn't weather the external turmoil they were facing? Lucy was already organizing groups. She had a way of bringing people together, of turning chaos into a plan. Okay, listen up. I think we should split into teams. One for fundraising, one for outreach, and another for the actual mural design. Ryan nodded, but his heart was heavy. Would they be able to reach those who needed to hear their message, the ones sitting in discontent, closed off to change? I'll lead the outreach team, Lucy declared, her eye alight with conviction. We can visit the community centers and talk to people. Get them involved. I want to help with design. Piped up Paul, another friend with sparkling enthusiasm bubbling over. I can sketch some ideas and get feedback. Great. I'll work on fundraising. Ryan finally found his voice. We might need help from local businesses. If they see us committed, they might want to join in. Smiles flashed around him, and he couldn't help but join in. But with every cheer, a nagging uncertainty fluttered in his chest. What if their town, stuck in its ways, didn't welcome them? As they broke off into teams, Ryan felt the world constricting around him. The storm outside danced on the horizon, its rumbling mirroring his own anxious heart. He could picture the murals, glowing with colors they hadn't yet mixed, but every masterpiece started on the canvas of their hopes. Hey, Lucy said softly, noticing his distraction. Are you okay? Just thinking, he replied, wishing he could shake the heavy fog in his mind. What if a bunch of people don't want this? What if they push back? Lucy placed a reassuring hand on his arm. Change is hard, but we can't let fear deter us. We've got our friends and the council behind us. We can do this, Ryan. Her optimism was infectious, but an internal voice reminded him of the risks of disappointment. He nodded, forcing a smile, but the thought of failure hovered. They had to focus on their goals. As the teams were formed, laughter crackled like static in the air, and Ryan took a breath. Let us promise we'll stick together. No matter what. Definitely. Paul said, his energy practically radiating. But even as they spoke with confidence, Ryan caught glimpses of older residents on the sidelines, their expressions unreadable. He feared the wrinkles of discontent and reluctance. Change was not always welcomed. The day turned to evening, and they broke for a quick snack. As Ryan stepped outside to get some fresh air, he felt the wind whip against his skin. The storm had edged closer, and the first droplets began to fall. Ryan stood there, squinting into the distance. The clouds hung low and heavy, pregnant with rain. We need to rush back in. Lucy called out from behind him, grabbing his arm. We've got ideas to plan. He nodded, though his heart raced with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. They were on the brink of something amazing, yet the fear of rejection loomed like the storm behind him. Will we stand strong against the storms of doubt, or will we crumble? He wondered as they hurried back inside, laughter chasing away the tense presence threatening to derail their dreams. But even as joy erupted once more, Ryan's heart thudded in his chest, knowing the real challenge lay ahead. The room buzzed alive with plans, yet his apprehensions swirled quietly, creating a tickle of worry at the base of his spine. What would happen when they faced their first real challenge? Would they huddle together, or fracture under pressure? As they plotted their strategies for a brighter future, the thunder rumbled in the distance, warning of the dark clouds to come. Ryan sat at the head of the table, surrounded by the vibrant energy of excited children and a supportive council. The mural's colors echoed his renewed purpose, triumph dancing around the air between them. And yet, beneath the surface, a storm brewed much like the one looming outside. Tension filled the space as they divided into their teams, each child eager to play a role in this ambitious initiative. Ryan smiled at their enthusiasm, but doubt lingered in his heart. Would the older residents truly embrace this change? Team outreach, let us think about what we want to share. Lucy exclaimed, her determination radiating. We're bringing joy, but we gotta talk about how this mural can impact our town, right? Her words snapped him back from his fraying thoughts. She's right. Ryan spoke with conviction. If we frame our message around community connection and the importance of this art, it might resonate better. Artwork isn't just about pretty colors, it's a bridge, a conversation starter. The doubts pressing against him softened with each passing cheer. They brainstormed passionately, ideas sprouted like wildflowers. Each child's voice added richness. Across the gathering, Ryan felt an unexpected sense of camaraderie blooming. Paul shared his design dreams, while others chimed in with quick sketches of what they imagined. Hope thrived in this room. Just then, Lucy's expression tightened. What if we give presentations to our families? Get them excited too. Ryan clapped his hands together, a smile brightening his face. That's brilliant. We need to engage everyone: parents, neighbors, teachers. If we can present our passion, they might get on board. Plans set in motion, they divided tasks with fervor. Each child took pride in their roles, their laughter swirling around a shared purpose. But as they pushed through, reality tugged at the ether. Ryan returned to the window, glancing out at the gathering storm. Would their commitment survive the swirling winds of doubt? Just then, a drop of rain hit the glass, swift and dark, foreshadowing the storms they might face. Mr. Ryan. Lucy chirped, catching his gaze. You're here with us every step, right? Absolutely, Lucy. I'm right here, he replied, each promise solidifying his resolve. As the meeting dragged on, he saw shadows lingering among some council members. Will they understand? He pondered. Can we press forward when faced with obstacles? The theme of resilience danced in his mind. It wasn't just the mural that mattered. It was about cementing a profound connection before everything blurred into doubt-aligned reality. Finally, they wrapped up the day, creating a vibrant energy to take home. Ryan watched the children, their faces aglow with hope, enthusiasm pouring from every pore. But even as he basked in their radiance, a percolating anxiety nagged at him. After the others left, Lucy lingered, her curious gaze latched onto him. What's wrong, Mr. Ryan? Ryan sighed, lifting his gaze toward the gray horizon. I just wonder if the town truly sees the importance of this project. The love it brings. But we've started something good, she insisted, grabbing his hand. People who care matter way more than those who don't. In that moment, clarity washed over him like sunlight breaking through clouds. They had ignited something, a flicker of urgency that might draw others to their cause. You're right, Lucy. Let us shine brighter. He felt a rush of warmth as ideas burst to life. We can organize a community event. Show everyone how our mural reflects their hopes too. Someone will want to jump in. Her eyes sparkled. An art fest. With games and performances. Everyone can share what the mural means. With a shared vision, Ryan felt invincible. The storm was no longer a harbinger of doubt, it transformed into fuel for their fire. Absolutely. We can do that. As they brainstormed the festival, laughter and dreams filled the air, a whirlwind of determination. Together, they would thrive, tide rising. Days rolled by, and soon the streets of their community echoing with laughter felt alive. Families gathered, children splashed color across new creations, and the mural became a landmark of aspiration. In the center of it all stood Ryan, hearts intertwined, feeling part of something bigger than himself. As he stood with Lucy, gazing at their vibrant creation, he felt strength bloom. They had taken on the storm, and their hearts raced with every brushstroke, every cheer, purposeful and unwavering. They had not just opened doors but shattered ceilings. Because they learned something vital through this journey, love, when poured into a cause, could weather even the fiercest of storms. As applause echoed across the festival, tears filled Ryan's eyes. He saw the community come alive with hope, vulnerability transformed into confidence. No matter what may come, we rise together. He shouted, holding Lucy's hand, all doubts washed away. In that moment, he realized this love they fostered had created a home not bound by blood, but by the tapestry of togetherness. And as they celebrated, Ryan glanced at Lucy, her radiant smile shimmering bright against the storm clouds. Together, they would nurture this bond as guardians of love, forever committed to their mural, their community, and each other. The future was bright. As the final cheers faded into the evening sky, Ryan felt a deep connection bloom in his heart. It wasn't just about change, it was about family, a family forged in laughter, art, and love. He was no longer just a lonely CEO, he was Lucy's forever daddy, and together, they would face whatever the world threw at them. Now, my friends, this is where you come in. You need to subscribe immediately to not miss out on more stories that inspire and transform. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread this message of hope far and wide. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this heartwarming ending. Let us know what touched you. And for the love of this beautiful journey, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and be part of this amazing community. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let's soar together.